Hello and welcome to the Astranti pre-scene video analysis series for the exams in November 2022 and February 2023, where the pre-scene company we are looking at is FireWorks. Just before we begin, I'd like to quickly introduce myself. So my name is James and I am the lead tutor for the Operational Case Study. And I've been working with Astranti on case study products for many years, ranging from pre-scene analysis videos through to mock exam writing and marking. I'd worked with CIMA on producing pre-scenes and mock exams in the past too. So very familiar and well-versed in all things case study. And with regards to the OTs, although I know all of the OTs and work with them, have worked with them lots over the years, my particular area of expertise is in the finance pillar. So that's just a little bit about me and why you should listen to me when it comes to the operational case study. So how is this video series going to work? Well, first of all, let's think about what it's made up of. First of all, we've got the pre-scene analysis video series. That's going to be 6 videos going through the entire pre-scene. And we're going to go through section by section, more or less page by page. And we're going to be focusing on a number of key things. One of those is focusing on the syllabus. So as we'll go through, we'll point out key bits of information that are related directly to the syllabus. As we do that and as we go through as well, the pre-scene will suggest particular issues that are more likely to come up in the exam. Remember, the pre-scene is written by the examinations team at CIMA, and they are going to write it in a way that they can develop exam questions. So if you read between the lines and you take that view, you can usually come up with a number of likely issues. And we'll take those. I'll be suggesting those as I see them throughout based on my experience, my past experience of past exam sittings, but also my knowledge of the case study and the strategic case study in particular. But we'll be taking that and doing a whole separate video called the top 10 most likely issues video as well. And more generally in the pre-scene, obviously it's an analysis. So we're trying to get an understanding of the company, of the industry, what they're doing well, what they're not doing so well, and their strengths and weaknesses, and then kind of opportunities and potential threats. Another video in the series is the strategic analysis. And we also have, as I just mentioned, the top 10 most likely exam issues video. Now, how those work in the pre-scene analysis videos, as you'll see shortly as I get on with it, I am not assuming any prior knowledge. I'm literally going through the pre-scene as I find it. So what I recommend as an approach would be for you to watch, for you to read a section of the pre-scene and then come back and watch my review and compare your notes to what I have. In the strategic analysis, we use something called the rational planning model, which you may be familiar with from E3. And the idea there is to come up with a business strategy for the pre-scene company. And you can use that as a basis from which to make recommendations and give good advice or analysis in the actual exam. And you can make sure your answers are in alignment with the best interests of the company from a strategic perspective. And then the top 10 most likely exam issues is exactly that. It's the 10 most likely issues that I think are going to come up in the exam. And I'll be defending those choices. So I'll give a reason for why I think it's likely to come up in the exam. And I'll also tell you the best way to prepare for that scenario. Now, just a few notes on the pre-scene analysis video series, what we're about to go into. The aim here is simply to provide context, just to understand the pre-scene company and the industry, to get an idea of what they're all about, what they're good at, what they're not so good at. You shouldn't be writing or putting anything together based solely on the pre-scene, okay? Because the exam is examined, you're examined in the exam on the unseen issues as they are presented to you. So this is all about giving you the background to deal with unseen issues. Now you can and should use it on the exam day. You can use the pre-scene, you can access the pre-scene in the exam, as you probably know, but also your analysis will help you to give better answers. Your recommendations should be consistent with the analysis that we will be doing in this series of videos. So remember, this is all about giving you that deeper understanding, that broader context of the company to help you give better answers in the exam. And with that, let's crack on with it. Welcome to video number 1 of 6 in the pre-scene analysis series. And I just want to give a quick overview of the structure of the series before we get going in video number 1. So as you can see on the screen here, there are 6 videos planned, and what will be covered in each of the videos we can see on the screen here. So in video 1, in this video, we are looking at the introduction. So just the first few pages, the overview, your role, the company background, and FireWorks ethos. So those are on pages 1 to 4. And then in each of the successive videos, we'll be going through a little bit more of the pre-scene. So this is video number 1, and we'll only be looking at those first few parts of the pre-scene. Okay, so starting with your role on page 2. So it's important to understand your role in this exam because the chances are this is your first case study exam. If you've never set OCS before, this will be your first attempt, then it's the first case study, or you may be resitting it, in which case maybe you have had an attempt before, but either way you are fairly inexperienced. So you need to understand how the case study exams work, and a big part of that is understanding your role. And understanding your role means understanding what is expected of you in the exam, because the exam is a simulation of a work-based environment, and your role within the company is a finance officer working within the finance department of FireWorks. So that's all fairly easy to understand. Working as a finance officer, basically doing some accounting. Now, where it gets important is understanding exactly what it is you might be asked to do and sort of understanding where in the syllabus that might come from. So let's go through that. So first of all, you are principally involved in the preparation of management accounting information. So that's going to be the topics from P1, including costing, budgeting, and variance analysis. Now that's a major part of the P1 syllabus, and there's lots of sub areas within those, but the preparation of management accounting tells us that you're going to get questions on those areas from P1. So those are the ones that we really need to be fairly confident about. And if you look at the blueprint, you'll see that those are the topics that take up a big overall weighting of the exam. So in addition to that, you're also providing information to managers to assist with decision making. So that opens up a few more areas of the syllabus for us, decision making. So primarily in P1, that's the topics related to forecasting, decision making, and also risk and uncertainty. So you can see here that just from these first few sentences, when it comes to P1, we've got a great deal of P1 is examinable in the OCS exam. How about F1 and E1? Well, the decision making topics from F1 that might come into this: corporate governance and ethics. So there may be elements to decision making that need to consider things like corporate governance or ethics. Those things could come up. They may not, but they could. And with regards to E1, well, it could be suggesting KPIs for a given area of the business, and it could be in relation to IT as well, as a lot of anything that is to do with IT tends to come from E1. But as you can see, E1, a very small part of the OCS exam, and again, F1 at this point, relatively small. Most of the focus on P1 at this stage. So if we continue on, at times you are also expected to assist with the preparation of financial statements and answer queries regarding financial reporting and other financial matters. So this is where the other F1 topics are coming from. So if you're expected to assist with the preparation of financial statements, you're going to need to know your IFRSs from F1, and then other financial matters. That's going to be the working capital sections, possibly some short-term finance, and also taxation from F1. So these topics here you can see on the screen then. What we've done is sort of shown how your role is built around the key topics that come up in the exam. So P1, 50% roughly of the exam will be P1 topics. Those coming from costing, budgeting, variance analysis, forecasting, decision-making, risk and uncertainty. Then next up, you've got F1, which is probably about 25%. You're going to get most of your questions on IFRS's interpretation of accounting standards. You get a question probably on working capital management, maybe on taxation. Corporate governance and ethics maybe as part of decision making. And then E1 is a very small part of the syllabus. You maybe get a subtask or two on E1 topics in your exam, and they usually are around suggesting KPIs, or it might be something to do with IT. So that's how your role maps onto the topics from the syllabus. And in terms of your revision and studying, you should make a list of all these topics and build that into your revision over the next few weeks as you prepare for this exam. Moving straight on now to the company background. Now, FireWorks is a company that designs, manufactures, and sells. Now, before we go on to consider what it is they're making, let's just think about what this means. Now, we've got a company that does all three of these things, so designing, manufacturing, and selling. Now, obviously, you get some companies that just sell, or maybe they just manufacture, or just design, but a company that does all three, that introduces a level of complexity. So let's have a think about what that means. Now, for a company that designs its own product range, you're going to obviously they need to spend time developing those product ranges. They have to come up with those ideas and develop them and turn them into real things. So that's research and development. That obviously incurs a cost. And you're also going to have intangible assets, the actual designs themselves, patents for particular products that the company itself has designed. That will be an element, obviously there's the financial reporting of that in terms of intangible assets, but that's just a factor we need to consider, is that the company designs its own products. As for manufacturing, that's a bit more straightforward. Obviously, they're gonna have their suppliers are supplying the raw materials that the company puts together to make their products. They're obviously going to have a manufacturing facility, a factory, production lines. They're going to have staff involved with that. They're going to be reliant to some extent on technology in the manufacturing process to ensure efficiency. And so those are all the things that come into that. And then, of course, costing, the costing of being quite applicable to manufacturing companies. And then for sales, that is yet another element, and that is dealing with their customers, who will be a mixture of B2B and B2C. There will be the marketing requirements of selling to third parties and particularly to end consumers. The marketing might be slightly different than it would be for B2B, and they'll have to consider their sales channels. Now, there's not a huge amount of scope for sales and marketing coming up in the OCS exam, certainly not as a main focus as a question. It may be the background or a scenario, but still another thing. What we're doing here is understanding the company and what it has to do to succeed and how it competes. And so having all these three areas that it manages itself is the first step to understanding that. Now, what is it that the company designs, manufactures, and sells? It is a range of outdoor grills. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with here. Now, you may know it as an outdoor grill. You may know it as a barbecue. Either way, we're talking about the same thing, more or less. So the things to think about here: what is the company's product range? What is the nature of their product range? Are they a value for money budget? Are they a high-end sort of luxury retailer? For outdoor grills, which at least conceptually is a fairly straightforward product, the competition is probably significant, with again a wide range of budget providers and luxury providers too. We're talking about outdoor grilling. Anything that is done outdoor is obviously dependent on the weather, so there's going to be an element of seasonality in sales here, more sales in the summer months than in the winter months. Also, there's an element of geography. Some places in the world can have outdoor grills pretty much all year round. Some places, like where I live in the UK, you wouldn't perhaps invest so much in an outdoor grill with the variable weather that we get even in the summer. So there's going to be different geographical regions that are going to respond differently to this product. There's also an element of health and safety. We are talking about a cooking implement or a cooking product here, which can either use charcoal or electricity or gas, and all of those things, if used safely, are perfectly fine, but it can leave people exposed to health and safety risk if they aren't used properly. So there's going to be a health and safety element to consider here in ensuring that products are used appropriately and safely by consumers, not only for an ethical reason, but also to prevent the legal issues that would arise if there are found to be any safety defects in their products. So, FireWorks is based in B-Land, which is a fictional country. They're always a made-up country in the pre-scenes, but it is in the very real Europe, and it has the B dollar as its currency. So just a few words on this. B-Land being as it is in Europe, even though B-Land is fictional, we can make some assumptions about the type of country it is because it's within Europe. So we can assume that it's based on or modelled on a Western democracy like Britain or the Scandinavian countries, France, Germany, Italy, Spain. Those types of countries are the ones we're thinking of. Kind of broadly neoliberal policies with taxation, probably progressive taxation. Skilled workforce, probably a focus on having an educated populace. And technologically advanced. So if we're thinking about our pastel, thinking of the T in understanding the environment, using pastel, the T aspect would be one that is fairly technologically advanced. And that's obviously important here because we're talking about a manufacturing company, and technology and new advancements in technology are going to be important and have quite a big impact on any manufacturing industry in these types of countries. Okay, and then there's a bit more detail on what is being sold. So the FireWorks sells movable standalone grills that can be located wherever the user's wishes in an outdoor setting. So movable makes them, the fact that they're movable, they could be moved around, they can be perhaps taken with you if you were going camping or you're going, on a holiday with storage in your car and your van with a trailer. You could take it with you and improve the cooking experience while you went camping. So what are some similar products? If we're getting an idea, this is quite a particular thing, outdoor grills, but there's some similar things if we think about the similar products in this kind of area in terms of outdoorsy, outside cooking type of area. Now, one that comes to mind and has seen significant popularity in recent years is pizza ovens. So whether or not the company could do something like a pizza oven, if we're talking here about developing new product ideas, is a pizza oven in that same sort of area? Well, it might be, that could be a sort of similar product. How easy is it to transition to indoor cooking equipment? Presumably, we need to know more about the kind of outdoor grills that they do, but an outdoor grill presumably can be brought indoor. It's based on the same concept of a heat source. Now, obviously, for charcoal, if it's giving off a lot of if you're burning charcoal and it's the smoke emissions, obviously that can't be done indoor. But if you have electric outdoor grills or gas outdoor grills, those can be brought indoor. So could they do indoor cooking equipment? Are there any non-food products that you could think of that the company may be able to easily produce? I mean, if you think of the components of a grill, kind of made of metal, either steel or aluminium, you've got the grill, you've got the hood and the base, maybe some wheels. Depending on the actual facility, it wouldn't seem too difficult to make all sorts of different products out of those inputs. Okay, so moving on to the next paragraph then. The FireWorks was founded in 1984. So it's been established for around 40 years, and it was started by David and Debbie Wheeler after they experienced the widespread outdoor grilling, eating and socializing lifestyle in North America while on holiday. So they were influenced by a culture that they saw that existed in North America around outdoor grilling, eating and socializing. Okay, so it's a lifestyle thing. The key word here is lifestyle. It's not just cooking outside. It's a lifestyle thing, and they saw it in North America, and obviously they're based in Europe. They came back to Europe and have decided to start a company to fill that gap in the market. So in terms of their background and experience, David was a marketing executive and Debbie was a production manager at a metalworks company. So in terms of their background, they do have relevant experience in relevant industries. So that's a bit about its history, who set it up, and kind of the thinking behind setting up this type of country and the experience of the founders. So that's all useful to know. Now in the next paragraph, we learn a bit more about Dave and Debbie's interests, and they were both passionate about food and the great outdoors. So those two interests coming together, and that's where this kind of business idea came from. Now, I'm lingering on this slightly because David and Debbie, before setting up the company, and yes, it was 40 years ago almost, but it was their passion about food and outdoors and having this experience in North America that inspired them to take their experience and create a new company to fill a perceived gap in the market. Now, those values and interests of theirs will be the same ones that are shared with customers of this company, because David and Debbie effectively found a product that they would have wanted themselves, but seeing that gap in the market, they're the ones to produce it. So those values are important to understand, because that's going to be important for us in understanding the values and the motivations of the consumers or the customers for this type of product. And again here, they wanted to inspire others to experience the pleasure of the dining and entertaining outdoor lifestyle. So it's very much a lifestyle. And as I say, it's given us some insight into target markets and how the product range is viewed. Okay, so Debbie and David, they, given at the time few inhabitants had an outdoor grill. So what they did is, as I've said, they identified a gap in the market, and which also does tell us a bit about the nature of the company as well, and what the culture might be like. Set up by two entrepreneurial type of people, and that will almost certainly have an influence in the way the organization is. So it will have something of an entrepreneurial ethos to it. Presumably, that may be confirmed or disproven as we move on. Okay, and very important here, they identified the gap in the market for quality, easy to use grills. So this is the value proposition here. A range of outdoor grills, that gives us a broad area. We know that they make outdoor grills, but this is telling us how they compete. This is their position in the market. They have quality, easy to use grills. So there's going to be a focus on usability, user experience, and ensuring high quality components, high quality build. And so we're probably looking at a higher end, medium to higher price for a slightly more luxury product. Okay, and as we continue on then, I'll just scroll down the page. So the first grill, which was launched the same year that the company was founded, was a simple design, worked on burning charcoal, and it was sold through specialist outdoor furniture retailers and large garden centres based in Beeland. So we know their first sales were domestic, as you would expect, and they're sold through third-party outdoor furniture retailers and large garden centres. So we know then that FireWorks started out B2B selling, as you probably would for this type of product, to retailers, and they're going to be, we're talking probably, they would have gone after chains, what you would think, so it's larger outdoor furniture retailers who have chains across the country. They're going to be a fairly significant customer, and they might have fairly high buyer power if we are thinking of Porter's Five Forces here. Now, 1984 had a particularly good summer, and this harks back to the point I made earlier about seasonality and the importance of geography and climate. Now, if there'd been a particularly bad summer, then it would have had a negative impact on sales, and the company may not have started off. So that's a big risk. And here we're talking here about P1, risk and uncertainty. The uncertainty of weather impacting sales can be an issue. So if there is significant impact of weather and climate, what are the ways a company can mitigate against this? we've already suggested one way would be a range of products that we use to be used indoor. Now, the more we learn, the more we can see that might be a problem there, because there's this focus and the values of the founders and the customers are on this outdoor experience of mixing outdoor with food and eating. So just a simple range of indoor, grills or ovens or whatever it might be doesn't quite fit into the purpose and idea of the company. So while it's not, there's no reason why they couldn't do that. It doesn't obviously flow logically from the company's sort of founding. So the other thing to do, obviously we're talking about domestic sales at this stage, and we don't know what sort of global reach the company has, but the more widely you can sell and different types of climates you can sell in, that would mitigate significantly against this problem, because whilst one hemisphere goes into winter, the other one is going into summer. So you've always got somewhere on the planet where you can make sales. And obviously there's certain places that you can make sales all year round. The closer to the equator and in the tropics that have sort of nice weather all year round, and it's a bit more predictable, then that you're going to make better sales there than you would in the sort of more temperate regions in the north and southern hemisphere. So, for example, if we take Europe, where B-land is, and we don't know where in Europe it is, if it is a country like the United Kingdom, where weather is very variable and quite unpredictable all throughout the year, it's going to be a bigger impact in terms of the weather on sales there than there would be in, say, somewhere like Spain or Italy, where you have more predictable long periods of warmer, sunny weather without rain. Okay, and in that year, so 1994 had a good summer, sales were healthy, and the product was of high quality, and the company established a good reputation. So it's quite early on created value in the brand there. It's got a good reputation. It's associated with high quality, and they've done that in their first year, and it's important then for them to continue to build upon and maintain that reputation. And we're probably looking here at a company that has maintained that reputation over the years for good quality. And so again, if we're thinking about how the company competes, high quality is a very important thing, and it wouldn't really be appropriate for a company like this to put out a range of, say, budget, low quality, indoor cooking equipment, because it wouldn't really fit in with the brand and what people would expect from them. Okay, moving on to the next paragraph then. As outdoor cooking continued to gain in popularity in B-land, FireWorks expanded the range of products. In 1998, it added a gas-fueled grill, and then in 2018, more recently, it had an electrically powered wood pellet grill was added to the range. Now, the thing I would take from this is that the company is quite slow to innovate. Okay, so if the company was founded in 1984, it's taking them nearly 15 years to add a second product to the range. So to move on to gas fueled, and then it's taken them another 20 years beyond that. There may be some products in between, but 20 years they're finally on electrically powered grills. So they're fairly slow to innovate, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, because they may be capitalizing and really focusing on what they do well, and if they are making good sales of that one product, then that's fine. But it could be that they're quite conservative in terms of new product ideas, and that could be something that the company needs to address going forwards. I hope you enjoyed that sample that was taken from the full course. So if you want to watch the entire video, then go ahead and sign up for our course. Before you do that, let me just tell you a bit about it so you know what you are getting. Our courses are designed first and foremost to help you pass your exam. We want you to minimize your study time, and we ensure that through providing those things, you are getting value for money. So what's on our course? Well, let me tell you a bit about the materials that we have on it. First of all, we have our exam technique series. That's designed to help you to get to grips with the case study exam and find out exactly what it takes to pass. And in this series, you'll perfect your exam planning and writing technique. You'll find out how to maximize the marks that you score in your final exam. You'll learn how to provide the best answers written down in the right way within the time given on the exam. And you'll hear exactly what the examiners say about how to pass the case study exam. In the theory revision series, this is designed to refresh all of your syllabus knowledge relevant to the case study exams. So we take the most commonly examined theory from E3, F3 and P3 and summarize that for you so you can review theory quickly and easily. So you can take the study text with you wherever you are, online or with the printable version. It also includes a whole range of tuition videos for those particular topics. We, of course, have the pre-scene analysis and the pre-scene materials, and that includes a full analysis of the pre-scene, picking out the most important snippets of information so that you don't miss a thing. 6 full videos for you to get through there. Also in the pre-scene materials package, we have a strategic analysis that links the pre-scene to the key theories and models from the syllabus. We have an analysis of the top 10 most likely issues to appear in the final exam, according to our case study experts. And we have 30 pre-scene knowledge questions designed to cement your knowledge of the pre-scene. Next up, we have the industry analysis. Our industry analysis provides an overview of the real-world industry that the pre-scene company belongs to, so you can apply this in the exam to score extra marks. Of course, we have mock exams and mock debriefs. Our mock exams include 5 fully timed computer-based mock exams with challenging questions designed to replicate the real exam. In addition to the questions, all of our mocks come with detailed solutions so you understand where you went wrong quickly and easily, and you can learn how to approach a similar question in the real exam. The mock debriefs are a series of video debriefs for each of the mock exams that go through exactly how to take the question, interpret the question, and turn that into a plan for the exam. So it shows you what you should be doing, how to apply what we've learned in the exam technique series, and you can compare your answer against the plan developed in the mock debrief. An essential product that students always are really popular with all our students is marking and feedback. And we have comprehensive marking and feedback included for 3 mock exams when you join the course. And that's from your assigned expert tutor who will be marking those scripts for you. That gives you the best platform for focusing your remaining studies and improving your answers. You'll work with the same marker throughout, so they'll get to know you and then give you personalized tips for how you can improve. We also have questions packs. First of all, we have the ethics pack, which helps you to cope with ethics questions, and we have a range of particular ethical issues to help you practice. We also have our generic question pack series. That's 60 exam style questions on a range of topics that are based on generic companies. So that's not based on the pre-scene, but it's a good way for you to practice writing exam answers in addition to what we've looked at on the pre-scene. And then finally, we have our masterclasses. There are 3 live online masterclass days, and signing up for the course gives you access to all of those. You can sit in and watch our experienced SCS tutor going through. You can talk to them through the interactive chat box. You can ask further questions on our discussion board. And those masterclasses are designed to take what we've learnt from exam technique, from theory revision, from the pre-scene analysis, and apply it to your actual exam solutions. Finally, to back all of that up, we have our double guarantee. So that includes, first and foremost, a 14-day full money back guarantee. So if within 14 days you aren't happy with what's on the course, you can get a refund, no questions asked. And on top of that, we also have a pass guarantee, which is basically if you sit with us, if you have our course and you sit the exam and you don't pass, then we will give you the course again for free. That's how confident we are in our materials. Thank you for watching. I hope you found that useful, and remember to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel to get more Astranti content.